Hello and welcome back to our modded Bannerlord playthrough, and you can currently see we're doing an escort caravan mission. Now, the main reason why I'm starting here is because we actually just had a level up, a real life, well, not really real life, but you know what I mean. We have a child level up, I guess you could call it, and you could see here that Phasos has had his 14th birthday. Alright, so what are we going to give him? What are we going to give him for a special present? Well, not that, that's for sure. But we're going to be giving him something good. So let's have a look. Charm, bow, tactics, engineering, riding, and one-handed. And obviously we have attributes and all that wonderful stuff. Personally, I feel like it would probably be a good idea, considering the world that we inhabit. Probably be a pretty good idea to give him a sword, right? I mean, he's more than likely going to be using a one-handed sword at some point in his life, so why don't we give him a sword? That sounds like a good idea. In adolescence, he began to take on serious responsibilities and compete with adults at a near equal. He managed to defeat his fencing instructor. That might actually make sense. Craft a weapon. Why is it engineering? I don't know. Why is it engineering? I have no idea why that is. Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. The child forged a sword, blade, hilt, and pommel. The artisan said that he had never seen such dedication and patience in one so young. Why is it engineering? Why is it not smithing? That doesn't make sense. Okay, well, whatever the case, we're going to be going for one-handed once again. And outside events also intruded on Phasos's adolescence. Phasos's? There's a lot of S's right there. You believe he was particularly shaped by an influx of wild beasts. This event increased his skills in scouting and bow. Okay, that's kind of interesting considering we went for one-handed with him, but obviously that is the developer's way of creating some kind of organic progression for these characters, which I very much appreciate. I personally would like more of that. I want more organic progression as much as we possibly can get. We want that all the way running through the entirety of this game. I feel like that would make everything so much more alive. It would feel much more immersive and atmospheric. Make a really big difference. Anyway, we have Battle Wizard once again. Yes, I've actually made something else as well. So Battle Wizard is obviously something that I actually think I made it a little bit longer this time. Because I'd actually like to see if that makes a difference to its overall handling and speed and so on, because I know that I've used long slashing polearms in the past, but with this new combat mod, I actually wondered whether it would make a difference, you know what I mean? Like, whether it actually would do something. It seems like it is actually doing something, as you can see right there. It seems to be doing some pretty nice damage, and we're already at 100. I mean, literally, if I were using this in a thrusting manner, I feel like I would have a really hard time. I don't know what it is, but they seem to, the combat mod at the very least, seems to make thrusting polearms so much worse than slashing ones, or generally slashing in general is not working out too well for me. It really isn't. Thankfully, however, I am now leveling up my crossbows as well. Obviously, we leveled up crossbows in the previous episode, but we had a crash for some unknown reason, so obviously we are now reverted a little bit back. But I did actually level up from me literally just running around doing some random tasks and so on. So that has given me an additional focus point and attribute point to place in crossbows and control. And I also leveled up my smithing, because obviously I was trying to create some cool weapons. And that's the thing, I don't really have a huge amount of different parts at the moment, which is kind of a shame. But with the parts that I did have unlocked, I created this thing called the Battle Basher. Yes, I don't know whether it's any good yet, because I haven't actually tried it out. I was actually waiting for you to join me, for me to test it. So let me just show you it real fast. Where is it? Did I literally just sell it? I think I might have sold it, or I might have smelted it down before I started the video, because I thought to myself, I don't have anything else. I also apparently also smelted my one-handed weapon as well. I am very good at this, as you can quite clearly tell. Yes, I might as well let my horse take over. My horse is now the main character of this series. Hello, horse. What is your name? Oh, Jeffrey? Okay, very good. Okay, okay, yeah. Jeffrey Horsemeister, apparently, is his name. Okay, very good, yes. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know about that. Well, unfortunately, Jeffrey, I'm not going to be able to go with you to create your new weapon. Because, let's face it, he wants a weapon. You know, he's going to do the whole Sith thing from Dark Souls, where he's going to have a sword in his mouth, and he's going to prowl around at night, seeking to behead anyone that steps onto the city streets, and so on. His words, not mine. Bear that in mind. Jeffrey is a very dark horse, if you'll excuse the pun. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, we're just going to wait until this guy gets out of here once again, and we're just going to continue following him. I actually wanted to do this for a variety of reasons. Actually, I should have gone into that town back there, shouldn't I? Oh well, never mind. I wanted to do this for a variety of reasons, mainly because my party at the moment is moving very, very slowly, so it's very difficult for me to catch up to any bandits. Looters are basically impossible for me to catch. And there's still no war going on at the moment. I'm actually kind of surprised about that. I would have expected war to happen quite often, but unfortunately that doesn't seem to be the case. So we're just going to have to, you know, do things the old-fashioned way, I suppose, and just try to get a little bit more relation here and there. Thankfully, we are doing this task for a merchant, and we know how effective our relation gain is with these merchants, and eventually we're going to have so much relation that we're going to be able to recruit basically anyone we want. Unfortunately, my crossbow skill is leaving a lot to be desired, so it is definitely making things much more difficult than it has to be. And, well, I was actually hoping I'd be able to get a couple of really, really lucky shots, because if I could do that, we'd see an increase of like, what? I don't know, 25 crossbow or something like that, which would be amazing. I would love to see that. That would be such an amazing achievement because, well, at the moment it's only about 30. And it would be fantastic if we could see something a bit better than that. Oh, maybe I could shoot this guy? Oh, that was almost a headshot. That was almost a headshot. But obviously, almost is not really anything, you know. Yes, my bolts are not going where I want them to go at the moment, which is really, really unfortunate, especially considering those guys are now escaping. But oh well, never mind. We are also gaining experience for this reason as well. That's also partially the reason why I wanted to do this. You may notice, by the way, I don't know whether you have noticed, but you may notice that my army is considerably different from what I had beforehand. The main reason for that is that I decided that because most of my own factions units had already leveled up significantly enough that I would probably be able to field a pretty deadly army at this point, that I wouldn't really need to level too many more of them. So I basically decided, okay, we're just going to take some of the other people from my garrison. And so I basically constructed an army completely out of units that are not from my faction. And that does give us an opportunity to look at some of the more interesting options that the factions have to offer. So I'm quite liking that quite a bit. Because as you can see, we've got some Nordlings right here. And these Nordlings, they can actually have cavalry, amazingly enough. They also have the ability to have these things, which are bow users. That's interesting. And they obviously do have the two-handed berserkers, which are going to absolutely murder everything in their path, which is exactly what you would want them to do. Anyway, we're not going to be using horses for these guys. I personally would prefer to make them into the best possible infantry that they can go for, so I'm going to set the preferred upgrade path as the trained warriors, and they're basically, you know what these are? What these are is basically the Nords from Warband, which I very much like. Well, apart from the fact that they did, you know, they did give them a cavalry unit, because cavalry is obviously not available as the Nords in Warband, but still, I think that's pretty nice. Anyway, this does give us an opportunity to take a look at some of the extracurricular, you know, units and things like that. We're going to go for infantrymen here because I personally find that the Legionarius are fantastic. I think they're really, really good. So we're going to be going for that. Control Shift. There we go. These guys also can... actually, maybe I should make these into berserkers. No, you know what? Let's just continue to go along the warrior path. Seems like there's a bunch here. Okay, are these guys actually heavy infantry? Well, they are lancers. It might make sense for me to actually go for infantry. Cavalry is what I mean. But yeah, maybe it would make sense for me to go to cavalry somewhere. Rhodoks we've got as well, as you can quite clearly see. They don't have cavalry at all, so that's very accurate in regards to, you know, how they were in Warband. And I think we're going to go for sergeants, I think. Trained infantry? Yeah, we're going to go for sergeants, so let's do that. Not a big fan of the polearm wielding guys, I gotta say. Polearm... yeah, they're good, but they're not going to be really good in sieges and stuff like that. So that's generally the reason why I prefer not to do anything along those lines. Let's go for some Imperial Archers as well. I think that could be pretty nice. Let's go for some Shield Brothers. Let's get some Footmen there, and we'll get some Arballistas there as well. And we'll otherwise go for Imperial... let's go for Crossbowmen. Why not? Go for crossbowmen and trained archers and all that sort of thing. Okay, that's fantastic. So now all of those can be automatically upgraded with the click of a button, which I absolutely love. Yes, party screen enhancements. If you have to install one mod and you don't want it to change anything about the gameplay at all, I highly recommend party screen enhancements. I mean, there are so many mods that are really cool, but that's one I definitely recommend because it just adds so much ease of use to your party screen in almost every single way, because you really don't have to worry about anything. You can pretty much just, as I just demonstrated there, set up your upgrade paths, and then you can just click on that little button, and then boom, everyone's leveled up in an instant. Really fun to see that happen as well, especially when you've been grinding for a long period of time and you have the ability to do so, and you can just go boom, look at that, click and done. That is just super fun. Anyway, let's see if we can maybe get a little bit of crossbow skill here, because obviously these are just looters and they're not actually mounted or anything like that. I'm hopeful for a headshot. Can I get a headshot, please? I mean, maybe a headshot actually wouldn't even make any difference, because as we've seen in the previous episode, headshots don't seem to do much in comparison to shooting them in the chest and everywhere else, basically. But look at that, 5 skill points for a kill right there. Really nice. Maybe I can get a couple more. That would be nice. Okay, I actually shot one of my own mounts. Never mind. Don't worry about that. He doesn't mind. He's fine with that. Does he mind? I'm sure he does. Come on, Jeffrey. There we are. Murder them. Thank you. Yes. And yeah, I love hitting these guys in the legs. Absolutely love that. That's just so useful, because it doesn't slow them down one bit. There we go. Alright, and we've actually gotten to 52 crossbows, which is pretty amazing. And we're still going. We're still going, which is pretty nice. I really want to get a headshot, actually, just to see. Okay, apparently I'm not going to get a headshot at any point. But that's okay, because we're still getting a skill up, which I think is pretty decent. And now let's go vroom vroom. Vroom vroom? No. Oh, okay. Apparently no vroom vroom, because that is the end of the battle, and apparently it automatically cancels vroom vroom, so I cannot just get all my people a bunch of experience for free, pretty much, without me having to wait for them to do so. Anyway, there we go. Alright, so let's see. Where is he going to now? I assume he's going to hopefully be done at the next one. I think he has to go to 6 different towns. I could be wrong about that. But let me actually just... yes, he does. Okay, he has to go to a bunch more, to an absolute bunch more. But that is absolutely fine, because, as we know, leveling up your units and all that wonderful stuff is something that you cannot... you can't rush it, really, can you? You can't rush it. But there we go. Look at this. Look at how many perk points we have right now. It's crazy. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, I'm going to go for 30% chance to negate relationship penalty. I may have taken this stuff in the past, but due to the crash, we had a pretty significant rollback. So if I'm taking the same things again, then you know why. Anyway, nomadic traditions increase mounted infantry campaign speed by 30%. That's actually kind of amazing. And increases carry capacity of pack animals and a better deal for buying and selling mounts. Okay, if they would tell me what the better deal is, then I'd probably be inclined to go for that, because it could be a significant increase to what you're currently going to get. But I personally love the mounted infantry campaign speed increase. So I'm actually going to take that. Even though it's probably not going to do much, it's probably going to be almost useless, but I'm going to do it nevertheless. Aiming with the crossbow is 25% faster, I'll take that. Reload time. Increases crossbow damage against mounts. Reload time. I will go for the reload time, thank you very much. And then the polearm perk. Okay, increases your combat movement speed with polearms. Polearm attacks that deal damage over 25% of your opponent's hit points have a 25% chance to knock them down. That sounds super fun. I don't know whether it's implemented because I haven't checked Bannerlord perks in a long time. But I would assume with most of the perks being implemented right now, I think they have 95% or something like that. I would assume that most of them are working as intended, so I'm just going to take it, take it at face value and just go on from there. So I'm pretty happy with that. Anyway, I have also done a little bit more investing. I don't know whether you can tell that from my increased amount of cash, but generally I have been attempting to get as many caravans up and running as possible, and that's exactly what I've done. So generally, I have, I think, about 6 or maybe even 7 caravans right now, because I just wanted to try and invest as much as I possibly could in my income, because I wanted to try and maybe earn enough so that I have some interesting things that I can do once I reach 300 trade skill. But obviously that hasn't really worked out as intended so far, so we'll see what's going to go down there very, very soon once we do get to the 300, because I might not, you know, have enough cash to be able to do anything at that point, because it seems to me like my wages are dramatically increased from all of the high tier units, because I don't have anyone to fight, really. There are just no enemies to fight that are actually dangerous enough to eliminate them. So it's basically just these guys, and that's pretty much all I have, unfortunately. I mean, you do have some manhunters here and there, and you do have some slightly larger bandit parties, but for the most part, you're not really going to find a huge threat, which is obviously something that I'm not a big fan of. And I've been waiting for quite some time. I actually don't know how long it's been since we made peace with these fellows, but I'm going to take a look at the diplomacy screen in just a second once we've made our way over to Praven here, and let's just have a look. There we go. You can go in there. There we go. Okay, fantastic. So let's have a look. How long has it been? Okay, well, we're at peace with everyone. Okay, Botania. How much have you given me? 50. Look, I mean, look at that. Literally 56,000. They've given us 650 per day. Oh, actually, oh, look at that. We're also receiving a tribute from Royalist of Landia. You can believe that. And we've received 163,000 from them, which is even more. So I'm wondering when we are going to declare war against people. Apparently people really want to kill the Royalist Vlandians, as you can see right there. They have 100% support for a war against them. And are there any other supporters for other wars? Yes, here. Ah, this guy owns Epicrotia. Okay, that makes sense. These fellows. Okay, yeah, so these fellows, I think they're kind of interesting, actually, because they own the one town in the small archipelago/island area that is between Azerai territory and then the northern territory to that. So, you know, whichever imperial faction that is. So, these guys are pretty interesting, not for the fact that they only have one town, but just because the amount of expansion that they have available to them is very, very limited, in my opinion. So we might want to consider doing this and actually proposing a war against them once my caravan quest has been completed. You can see here, this is them right here. And, I mean, I think we easily have enough combat strength to be able to deal with them. And we might even be able to crush them so incredibly fast that we'd be able to just eliminate them from the game in one fell swoop. And then we would have this trade route ourselves. And that could very well be something very nice. Something very lucrative, potentially, for Byron himself. I might be able to claim it for my own, which would be quite nice. But we'll see what happens, actually. Okay, hello there. Gonna just go for a nice little auto-resolve here. It's gonna get them dead as fast as possible. They are Sea Raiders, however, so it probably would have been a pretty harsh fight, but oh well, whatever the case. We do get a lot of level ups from that as well. Look at that. 26 troops actually gained level up from that as well, which is absolutely insane. I love it. And if we don't declare war, okay, so if my faction does not decide to declare war, I'm going to bring it to the table myself, and then we'll see what actually happens, because I'm intrigued to see what kinds of units those guys have. So I might even take a look at the troop trees beforehand, because I think that might make a little bit of sense, just to make sure that we know exactly what we're going up against, because otherwise it's going to be one of those things where we declare war against these fellows, and then boom, we know 100% that we made a massive mistake, because they are going to be either just absolute monsters in battle, or just generally going to be very, very difficult for us to deal with. So yeah, that's definitely something to bear in mind. We upgraded another 11 troops, which is very cool, and we got some more weapons and all that wonderful stuff as well. And don't think I've forgotten. I haven't forgotten. We're going to be doing some smithing as soon as I possibly can. Once this escort caravan mission is done, I will be doing that. There we go. Okay, look at that. We got 8,000 gold from it. Fantastic. All right, so let's just take a quick look here. All right, so we got one new part from this. Wow, we got loads of new parts. Unfortunately, I actually don't have enough charcoal. Are you serious? Of course I don't have enough charcoal. Okay, let's just get 10 hardwood, and then we can go on from there. That's going to be easy enough. So let's just get 15 of this, and then let's just get a bunch of these gone. There we are. And this can all go. And we got some new parts here. There we are. Okay, fantastic. So let's see what we can actually make. So do we want to make another polearm? Because from what I can tell... Oh, this might be nice. This is a thrusting polearm only. Can I make it a couching one? Yes, I can make it a couching one with this particular shaft. Okay, that's going to be interesting. Can I increase its damage? No. Apparently I can't increase its damage. Why not? I'm not entirely sure why I can't do that. Oh well, whatever the case, let's try it, shall we? Okay, let's see. Am I going to get any cool things? No, apparently not. Okay, so let's call this Battle Thruster. Oh yeah, if I could actually type. There we go. Battle Thruster. Okay, that sounds pretty fun to me. And I also made this. Now, this is the Battle Basher. Okay, so the Battle Basher was something along these lines. Let me see if I can replicate it adequately enough. I think it was something like this. The weapon reach might be a little bit too low, so that might cause a couple of issues. So let's just go with something like this. Something like that. This, maybe? I don't know. I don't really know what's going to work with this. And this is going to be called the Battle Basher. There we go. Its handling is absolutely awful. Just bear that in mind. So it's probably not going to work out too well for me, but we'll see. Anyway, let's see the Battle Thruster in battle first. Why not? Let's see what happens with that. Can I find some people to actually fight? I did buy a bunch of horses as well, by the way, so I was actually hoping that maybe that would enable me to move just that little bit quicker on the world map, and it seems like it has done a little bit of that, but I was actually hoping much, much faster that we would move. Okay, so let's have a look. How is this going to work? Okay, so this is a... Oh, it's one of those. Okay, yeah. I don't think this one's going to actually work very well. I don't hold out much hope for the thrusting polearms any further. I feel like the battle mod makes them kind of bad. I'm not entirely sure why that is, to be honest. Oh, that was much better. That was much better than usual. Oh, I like it. Okay. Oh, I like this. Okay, I'm liking this right now. This is actually kind of good. Okay, well, maybe if we can do something with this, then I will be happy with it. So it's... yes, okay, this is fine. All right. Maybe what we needed was just to create our own, because the other polearm that we had, I think it had about 10 less damage, but that shouldn't really have made this much difference. But it is, as you could see, making a pretty significant difference in the amount of damage that we deal. I'm kind of surprised. Gotta say, kind of surprised about that. I would have expected it to do relatively similar damage, but apparently it didn't. So it seems like just creating my own certainly made a huge change. Okay, now, we did 14 damage against this guy. Now, I know that someone actually did mention that the way that the combat mod works is it checks adequately whenever you hit something to see whether you've done more damage than the damage threshold of the particular armor and so on, to work out whether you've actually done damage. And that's the reason why headshots are not causing a huge amount of damage to be dealt to people in tournaments, for example. I'm not sure if I agree on that, personally, because I think a headshot should always be a critical, no matter what it is, because I feel like headshots are harder to get than body shots. But if body shots are going to be doing more damage, then obviously everyone's just going to be going for body shots, right? But if it's a headshot, I feel like it should always do good damage. Yeah, sure, you can definitely take into account the armor that is provided from all of your equipment, you know, on that particular body part, of course, like arms, legs, etc., whichever hitbox area is hit. But I always think that a headshot is going to do more damage than a body shot, and it shouldn't do negligible damage. I feel like, you know, it's just so negligible the amount of damage that is done in these tournaments, when usually you would be, as a low skill character like my guy is at the moment, especially with bows and all that stuff, you would be relying on headshots to actually do something in these tournaments, you know, because otherwise you're going to not do much damage at all. But obviously if I just focus the body, then that makes it a lot easier for me anyway, so I suppose it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But I thought it was kind of interesting nevertheless, you know, just to go through all that. We're declaring war on Royalist Vandia. Okay. I actually didn't want to do this. I actually felt like this was not a good idea. But we're going to spend 100 influence anyway, just to get some charm skill. And then we will go to battle against Royalist Vandia. Whoa, they're actually really close by as well. And I'm actually deep in enemy territory right now. And Thraktorai Castle is in the thick of it. Quite obviously. Wow. This is probably pretty bad. For me to be here is pretty bad. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to place every single one of my units in here, and then I'm just going to pick and choose what I want to keep in my army for the upcoming fights, because I want to make sure that we have the utmost best units possible. So we're going to be going for some of these guys, because those are really, really good ranged units. And I'm going to be going for some Noble Lancers, some of these guys. I think I might try to be a little bit diverse as well in the amount of units that I have and what kind of units, because I wouldn't mind using some other kinds right here. So maybe some of these guys, just for a little bit of increased ranged support, because it seems like I have some pretty decent infantry at the moment, but my range is just not very good. So might be nice to get something like that, and I'm thinking we'll probably go some more of these. This is going to be a bit problematic. I'm thinking we might just go for as many high tier troops as possible, so things like tier 4 and above potentially. Yeah, I think that seems pretty good. Then I'm going to go for 10 of these, and then we're done. All right. That's looking pretty good. Alright, so I thought I'd just check out my castle for the moment to see just how much was left in the reserves, and as you can see there's, well, nothing. So I'm going to place 5,000 gold in there, just to give it a little bit of a construction increase, and you can see already that we're having a huge problem with loyalty. Loyalty is the main problem right here, and I'm not entirely sure what we're supposed to do about that. As you can see, we're actually getting 0 loyalty. So I'm thinking we will probably try to do this, which is festival and games, and maybe that's going to make a difference to what we can get from the construction, and maybe increase our loyalty just enough to make that a little bit more worth it. Alright, so I'm thinking that's pretty good. Now let's just take a quick look at where our armies are. Where are they? All the way... Are you serious? Why are you all the way down there, you imbecile? Ugh. That's not going to work out too well for us. Okay, yeah, this might be problematic. Okay, well, whatever the case, let's just go and have a little bit of a scout out here, shall we? Because we really do want to get into a battle with one of these vassals. I'm very, very prepared this time around. And I do have that wonderful, wonderful polearm now as well. Battle Thruster. It actually seems to do quite a good amount of damage too, which I'm very pleased about. The only unfortunate thing is... Oh, do I have enough to actually... Wait a minute. Did I really spend my warhorses already? Oh, I apparently already did that. What an absolute idiot I am. Okay, well that is actually kind of bad. I was obviously in the area of Askar, okay? And I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to buy some warhorses for a cheap price. They were only about 500 each. I bought 3 of them. And I thought, okay, I'm going to keep these just in case I get enough riding skill to be able to ride them. Because that's going to provide me with so much more security when I'm riding around and I have a polearm and I really want to try and do a good job at staying alive. And what do? I just sell them or give them to someone else or something like that. Apparently that's what happened at least. Anyway, we have 50 horse armor at the moment. Is there something better? Yes, there is, but it will cost me 18,000, and that is really not worth it, in my opinion. So we're just going to go on from there, and that is it. Okay. All right. So now we are not ready just yet, because I need some food. But yes, we are going to be ready just now to go in to a fight against someone. Not entirely sure who it's going to be, but I'm just going to try and purchase a number of goods here. Not too much, because I don't want to slow myself down dramatically, but just enough. And we do have an army here as well. So the army has actually caught up with us right now too, which is great. Hopefully we're not going to come across... Yes, our castle has now been besieged. Okay, let's just go and see what's actually happening here. Please don't let it be a big army. It's not that big an army. It's not that big an army. I think we could actually do this. Not by ourselves, mind you. But if that fellow... Is he coming? This is not looking good, is it? This is not looking good. Oh, Constantine. Constantine, come on. Come over here. Oh, yeah. Look. He's actually breaking off. Because he... Oh, look. Oh, you scoundrel. You're a criminal mastermind. This fellow, this leader of this army is absolutely murdering the Royalist Flandians strategically right now. He doesn't even need to do it. Actually, going in there and slaughtering them. He's just doing it from far away because he basically forced them to make a decision to besiege Ortisia. And that was really, really good. Oh, and look at this. This is absolutely fantastic. Let's go in there. Let's go in. Go. Yeah, get him. All right, there we go. I actually was the one to, if I do say so myself, I was the one to attack first. So let's do this. You're a damn fool. Ah, yes, you're a damn fool. All right, so let's do this. Okay, so we basically have double their numbers. But obviously, in the grand scheme of things, does that matter? It really very much depends, because it very much depends on tactics, strategy. It depends on your you know, capabilities. It depends on the enemy's gear and levels and, you know, all that stuff. So let's try to be a little bit careful here. I'm going to mostly... I literally just have infantry. Are you serious? Alright. Go and do whatever you want. Go and do whatever you want. I only have infantry, so I basically can't do anything anyway, so I might as well just let them auto-delegate, and they'll probably just follow the other AI units, and that's pretty much all I can do. But what I can do is I can use my new polearm, and we can hopefully do some massive damage. Or not, as the case may be. But that was actually pretty good. You know, 70 damage, that's not bad against a mount. Nice. Oh, now that's that's what I'm talking about. That's very nice. Okay, here we go. I'm trying not to take any damage as well, by the way. I'm trying to take as little damage as possible with my mount at least, because if my mount dies with my current equipment setup, I will basically be a sitting duck, and I will pretty much be dead instantly. Why was I not able to kill that guy? Someone said to go into first person when couching. I guess that does make sense. That does actually make sense. I'm just not very good at going in first person, by the way. I don't know whether you can tell, but yes, I'm pretty terrible when fighting in first person. There we go. Not too bad. Gotta be careful, don't really want to get murdered. Yes, we're getting murdered. That happens. Alright, well, let's see what I can actually do over here. Maybe I can actually do a little bit of interference here as well. Maybe I can use my crossbow a little bit against the enemy. Nice. My crossbow is so incredibly disappointing. It really is. Some of the time it literally just goes flop right into the floor, and then it's just terrible. Okay, you know what? I'm done with that. I am done. Absolutely done with the crossbow for the moment. I'm just going to try and help out our archers as much as I possibly can. Yes. Oh, very good. Yes, do 0 damage with your couch lancing, you imbecile. Oh, well, never mind. Can I actually... I can thrust with this, right? Yeah, I think I can thrust with this. But I'm going to need to switch from couch lancing, and that requires me to unequip my shield, which is obviously not really going to work out too well. Are my people actually running? Do you see that? I think they are. That would be not very good. That would be really, really bad. As you can see, we seem to be losing this stage of the battle, which I'm not a big fan of. Oh, hello there. That's a very long stick you've got there. Yeah, we should probably be a bit careful. We are right behind enemy lines. Okay, it seems like the enemy has also withdrawn from this small skirmish that we had, and it seems like we are also withdrawing. Okay, that's kind of interesting. I'm not entirely sure why they would have done this, but okay. How many have we lost? Okay, they've obviously done much better than us for the moment, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, bear in mind that I'm not able to command the entirety of the army. I'm only able to command 21 of them. So, yeah, it is not my fault if we actually end up losing this. Or is it? Maybe it is, you know? Maybe it's my Worst Commander award that I was given a number of episodes ago. I would like that, actually. But yeah. Oh well, never mind. I don't think I'll ever see it in reality, but there we are. Okay, so otherwise... Oh, wait a minute. Ooh, that was bad. That was really, really bad. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to be even more careful now. Oh, look at that. We're coming in for another wave. Oh, that is... I gotta say, I feel like the AI seems much better with this mod installed. Is it just me? Especially when it comes to using these kinds of tactics, because I think that in the base game, the AI would literally just be... That guy has way too long a pole. He really does. But yeah, I think in the base game, they probably would have just gone in like, fully gone in, and that's it. That would have been all that they would have decided to do. Okay, I'm gonna... Okay, so this is... Okay, so I can actually use it like this, but this is just a two-handed. I'm not a big fan of that, if I am honest. Maybe I'm gonna have to actually retreat from here. Bear in mind, I can die. I can die. I have to remind myself of that almost all the time, because I'm taking a huge risk right here. Yeah, okay, so the thrusting is still really bad, as you can see right here. Wow. Yeah. I mean, you could see the absorbed damage. You see how much damage was absorbed right there? Ah, that's 91. Okay, that's much better. But we hit him in the leg. Kind of weird. Oh, no, that was nice. Hit him in the shoulder, but that was an insane amount of damage. I like it. Oh, and we got murdered. Okay, thankfully I'm not dead. So that's all that really matters. Let's just see what actually happens here, because I might even have to retreat at this point. So let's have a look. How are we doing? We're doing pretty badly, actually. You know what? I'm actually going to retreat. I don't want my units to get completely murdered here. I have no idea what's actually happening with my forces. These guys are not really doing very well at all. I'm extremely surprised about their performance in this fight. I would have expected them to completely and utterly stomp the enemy, but they have disappointed me on a whole other scale. I have no idea. I really have no idea what they were doing there. But their strategy was sound in the way that they drew the enemy away from my castle, which I very much appreciate. So I can't be too mad at them for anything else. But yeah, otherwise we're just going to be selling all these prisoners the next time that I can. And this guy is going to get intercepted very, very soon. But he does have an army of about how many? 776. That's going to be pretty good. And I think with that, that will be the end of this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.